On today's episode of Peninsula Beat, we take you back to some notable stories that happened in our community in 2014. We begin with a special ribbon cutting that marked the completion of the San Ramon Canyon project. This was the most expensive infrastructure project in the history of Rancho Palos Verdes. Here's more.
Give me a count of three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! The water flows! Very momentous day in Rancho Palos Verdes. This is the largest infrastructure project that the city's ever undertaken. As I said in my remarks, there are a lot of people involved in getting this done, from staff, contractors, engineers, past councils, residents, thousands upon thousands of hours to bring this very necessary program to completion. And as you walk around, and this is the first time I've seen it completed, it's just an outstanding project, very well received by the crowd that was here today. And we're lucky that this storm drain project will serve the residents of RPV for the next century.
What made this become a project? Because there's lots of projects floating around. What made this become a #1 issue?
I think the safety concerns of flooding onto 25th Street and the erosion against the road bank embankment of Palos Verdes Drive East made it high on the council's list of things to get done quickly. There's some big hurdles because of the cost, and there was even some pushback from the community, but we took the time to work through all that in a great way, and of course the state came through with a grant which made it all possible.
I have the bucket. This is one of the 5 buckets that was used to dump the first load of water down our storm drain. So it has now been christened.
Yeah, and I'm glad we could have some fun here too, because this was a pretty serious project that you were able to accomplish something this big. How do you feel now with it behind you?
It's amazing. I mean, this was the biggest infrastructure project the city has ever undertaken. And we couldn't have done it without the state grant. I mean, that was absolutely key to this project, but also the tremendous amount of teamwork that went into it, and it came off so well. It really was just beyond my expectations.
Well, there it is. The ribbon's been cut. The San Ramon Canyon project is complete. For RPV TV, this is Mark J. Dottie. Back to you, Maria.
2014 brought the community together for the first volunteer day organized by the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. Many residents joined forces at Lower Hess Park to clean up the environment and make a difference.
It's really exciting to be here at Lower Hess Park for the city's first annual Volunteer Day. It really is a beautiful day, especially as we watch the community come together to do this wonderful beautification project.
This is our first volunteer day, so we want all the bright yellow shirts to show people in the neighborhood that we have volunteers who are willing to make the parks beautiful, and we're trying to get rid of invasive species and have the native plants be able to grow.
It's something for the good of this park, Liz. It's a beautiful park, and it's fantastic to see all the volunteers that have come out here today. I mean, we've got groups working on the hill. Here's a big group working behind me, groups over on the side here, and we're really making some headway pulling out Russian thistle.
This is really fun. This is our first event, as I'm sure you've heard from others, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it, because this is the beginning, I think, of a really cool program.
I've been hearing about the city's efforts for Lower Hess Improvement Project. What's going on there?
Well, we have a conceptual plan for Lower Hess, and we're working with the neighbors to kind of refine that. But in the meantime, the city has allocated $500,000 to kind of be the first phase of improvements out here.
Well, with the resources we have, not only through volunteers and projects like this, but also on a more formal basis, we do have some funding that we'd like to put in some more improvements in this park, such as a playground area, some hard court surfacing. It is an active rec park, so we'd like to, again, it's going to be a mixture of a little bit of everything.
There is a committee to work with the city on the development of Lower Hess Park. You can stand out here with all these people working away, and you can almost see the invasive weeds and disappear and the place look better. It's just very, very, very encouraging.
I think today is fabulous. To have over 70 volunteers here giving of their time to help in a community event is just awesome.
As all the volunteers keep rolling in, I found this mom with a nice group of teens here ready to go to work. What brought you out today?
Oh, we just wanted to give back to our community, just make it beautiful. It seems like a relatively doable project.
And trash.
I was picking some sticks and
those sharp plants.
And you working really hard?
Yeah.
How about you, Amanda? What are you up to out there?
I'm doing like the same thing, raking and all that kind of.
And what about for you? What do you think this is a good idea to all come together like this, Alyssa?
It's good to help out your community and to give back to the city, and it makes the city prettier and it makes life better.
It's wonderful to know how many RPV residents want to come out and help. Just seeing the community spirit is great.
All right, I was able to take a quick break, and I just want to let the community know there'll be many more volunteer days like this one where you can get out into the community and make a difference. You can check in with the city's Recreation and Parks Department at 310-544-5260 to find out about all the future projects. And with that, I'm going to say back to you in the studio, Maria, and now I'm going to get back to work.
2014 brought deadly surf conditions along the Peninsula coast. As a result, the Abalone Cove Safety Task Force was formed to educate the public about swimmers' safety.
Hi, Maria. I'm here at Abalone Cove where I caught up with lifeguards and members of the newly formed Abalone Cove Safety Task Force. This force was created in the wake of the recent number of rescues that have had to be performed here, as well as the tragic drowning of a man off Sacred Cove. The bottom line is safety officials want to make sure that the public knows when they come to the beach, they need to be safe rather than sorry.
As a part of this safety task force, we have the Sheriff's Department, we've got the Fire Department, lifeguards. We also have our rangers from MRCA, as well as city staff. We had obviously a lot of incidents and a lot of reports of rescues needing to be made. So we got everybody together in one room, started talking about what we can do to educate the public a little bit more on how to use your public beach safely.
We want people to come down, we want people to enjoy the beach, but there's very little beach that's lifeguarded. So we want people to come down and swim in the water where there's a lifeguard. Abalone Cove Shoreline Park has a beach where we staff a lifeguard starting at 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. RPV, which is below Trump National Golf Course, also has a lifeguard.
The other areas, of course, Sacred Cove, there's no lifeguard present. So talk about swimmer safety there.
Around the 2 points, so you have Portuguese Point and Inspiration Point. When the water comes in, there's places where the water goes back farther or goes back into the rock point. And a lot of people call those the gorges, the tide pools. I would describe it as worse than a washing machine. It goes up, down, back, forth. The water recedes really low, then comes really high, and what we've seen is people are jumping in the water, they're getting scratched up, they're getting injured, and unfortunately we had a death at one of the points.
If you're in trouble or see somebody in trouble, have somebody call 911. Get the emergency services rolling immediately. The other thing, know where you are. During the last two major incidents that we had, everybody on the 911 said that they were at Abalone Cove. All the resources went to Abalone Cove when in fact they were at Inspiration Point in Sacred Cove. So please, please know where you are, know your exact location.
Again, to highlight some of the safety tips for beachgoers. Number one, never swim alone. Always make sure there is a lifeguard visible. We want to make sure that you're safe rather than sorry when you come to the beach. Back to you, Maria, in the studio.
In an effort to raise awareness and funds for cancer research, residents joined forces at the 11th annual Relay for Life. The event took place at Miralest Intermediate School. Here's more.
Today I'm at the Miralest Intermediate School. I'm on the track where they are hosting the 11th annual Relay for Life. It is put on to benefit the American Cancer Society. This is about bringing the community together with cancer survivors to help find a cure.
This is such an important event for us as a survivor and others that have survived and others that have not. All of us have been through a tremendous amount, and so I just feel anything we can do to gather money, to aid research, to beat this cancer.
I'm incredibly fortunate that I'm a one-year pancreatic cancer survivor, the deadliest of cancers in terms of survival rate. And Cancer is something that will touch virtually everyone's life.
It's everybody's nightmare. It is the nightmare. And when you're told that your kid has cancer, they found a tumor, it was like words. Do you remember the show Electric Company? So it's like words shooting past you, and then you just buckle up and you have to go with it.
Just a few years ago, I went to a life clinic, and they said I'm a survivor. When I went there, they said I was a survivor because I've been like 5 years out of cancer then.
I wanted to thank and encourage everyone who volunteered. I also wanted to recognize the survivors that were out here. It was very touching, very, very heartfelt and gut-wrenching. Cancer has touched my family in very significant ways. I lost my father, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. And again, unfortunately, I don't think I'm alone.
These are actually a few of my students from the biomed program there at Marymount, so we're here to support. You know, with my family personally, my grandmother is a survivor, and everyone in my family always gets checked just in case.
The American Cancer Society just celebrated its 100th birthday last year, so we've been around for a while fighting the fight and really trying to eradicate cancer. You know, we've improved the numbers. More and more people thought of it as a death sentence, and now along with research and technology, it's not as much anymore. You know, there's hope, and we can fight it.
With cancer, you can never give up. You have to believe that you can beat the disease, and you have to seek out the best treatment. You've got to be proactive in your own sense that you've got to eat right, you've got to get exercise, you've got to have a network of people around you who help you and believe in you and support you. And if you do all those things and you're fortunate, you can beat cancer.
Hearing all the stories of the survivors here today is so inspiring, giving us so much hope. And if you want to continue to support the efforts here, you can go on to relayforlife.org/Palos Verdes CA. Back to you, Maria.
In 2014, we brought you a series of stories about local war heroes in our community. John Clayton caught up with a World War II pilot who survived the Normandy invasion.
In Europe, the D-Day landings on June 6, 1944 were the largest seaborne invasion in world history. It involved 156,000 Allied troops, over 11,000 aircraft, with over 15,000 American paratroops and 9,000 British airborne troops. Most jumped out of the distinctive and unique C-47, the military version of the civilian DC-3 airliner. We pay tribute now to a longtime Rancho Palos Verdes resident who back in World War II was a pilot of one of those American C-47s, Colonel Jack Downhill, truly an American hero. We talked with him against the backdrop of the SS Lane victory, yet another icon of World War II and Normandy, the American victory ship, this one berthed in the Los Angeles harbor of San Pedro, California. Colonel, you were a pilot of a C-47. Were you actually flying over the beaches on D-Day?
Well, we went inland to a place called Semir-Église and dropped paratroopers about 2 o'clock in the morning.
On that glorious day, which turned out to be a glorious day for the Allies, what was your rank on that time?
I was a first lieutenant at that moment, 22 years old, going on 23.
When you flew over and all the trips that you did you worry about being shot down?
We gave it some thought, and actually on the D-Day drop, we picked up a huge hole in the airplane, but it didn't knock us down.
Tell me about the jacket you're wearing.
Okay, the jacket was issued to me when I finished flying school, and I wore it through transition training into flying the airplane. I wore it on my first assignment overseas, and then had it when I returned in the spring of '46.
Of all the military veterans that I, John Clayton, have been privileged to meet and talk to since June 1944, including those I met on my 5 visits to Normandy between 1996 and 2007, Colonel Downhill is, for sure, one of the most fascinating. So, anytime you see or hear about this venerable aircraft, the C-47, I hope you will remember the bravery and courage of this young, very young American hero, Colonel Jack Downhill.
Peninsula High cheer coach Loretta Aguilar brings professional experience to her dance squad. Prior to teaching, Loretta danced for the NBA as a member of the Clipper Spirit dance squad. So when Loretta was in need of an assistant, she called upon her Clippers sisterhood.
Candace has always been a go-getter. Ever since she was a freshman, she was always had her hands in different things. She was in Girl Scouts. She was heavily involved in her church, ASB, cheerleading. She was everywhere. Like, she was the girl that was everywhere in high school. So I knew she would go far in whatever she chose to do. I was hoping she'd do professional and dance and stuff like that. So anytime she'd call and say, think I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, good luck. And I would just kind of remind her, okay, don't forget to do this or do that or whatever. So
what does it mean to you to see her come back and give back to the younger girls?
I think it's great. I think if you have a talent and you're able to share it with people, I think that's number one. That's just, you're giving back. You're giving it not only a piece of you to somebody else, but enriching their life too. And I think she definitely does that. And she comes in here always with a smile on her face, and she's very warm with the girls and very open and listens to them. And I think they appreciate that and look forward to seeing her.
I want to give back to younger students because someone gave back to me. My coach, Loretta, was also on Clippers when she was my coach, and she gave back to us, and she taught us a lot about what it is to be a performer and what it is to be able to engage the crowd and do it with excellence and be able to know how to dance well the whole time. So it was one of those things where I felt it just made sense that I would be able to share what I've learned.
She was making a dance for Clipper tryout, so she had told us, so we all just kind of were really excited when she had told us that she had cheered for the Clippers and also now is choreographing for them.
It's really inspiring and really impressive, and it really motivates me to pursue their careers, and it's really cool to know that the people teaching us have the real experience.
When you look at some of these girls and you look in their eyes and you watch what they're doing, do you see yourself?
I totally do. It's so weird. Sometimes you're like, oh, I totally did that in sophomore year. Oh, that was me as a freshman, But, and that kind of, it's helpful because it also helps me to be able to teach them better.
If you want to do something different, go into professional, you've got to own everything. You have to perform everything. It's not just about a move. It's about setting a tone of your dance and really feeling it and having that performance level from start to finish and even from entrance to exit. It's all kind of entwined in everything.
For me, it's a privilege to be able to have learned from her and to be able to teach under her as well. And right now I'm just, volunteering and helping her and just helping her with whatever she might need in my free time. And so,
what kind of questions do the kids ask you?
So do you talk to the players? Do you do, they do some kind of funny stuff like that. And some of them are actually Clipper fans too. And so I get to hang out with them and, share stats.
I think it's the motivation. I think when they see what they're doing, they think, oh, I can do that too. Be it at continuing at the high school level or at the college level. A lot of these girls aspire to be on pep teams at the college level or even to perhaps be a Clipper girl or a Laker girl.
It has been over 10 years since the first hybrid car hit the market, and today there are more than 3 million of these energy-saving cars on the road. Now, while these cars save the consumer in some areas, the cutting-edge technology can be expensive when it comes to repairs. Well, that is until now. I sat down with one of our local business owners who is saving hybrid customers money in a big way.
I'm part of a national organization where we have a summit every year. 2 years ago, this concept was presented by a company called The Hybrid Shop. And The Hybrid Shop, they provide the training, the technology, and the support for those of us who want to leapfrog our competition and get into this business. In 2002, there were 2 makes and models of hybrid cars on the road. Today, there are 60. And it's estimated by 2020, 40% of all new cars sold in California will be hybrids. So this is a technology that's, it's here to stay. It's for real. And we have made a commitment to be the best of the best. And we've been doing that for 10 years now, so this is just the next step in that evolutionary process. Our first 2 customers found us on the internet. They both had cars at the dealership, and the dealer told them they needed a new battery. So they thought there's got to be some other option. They researched, found us, and we're able to condition hybrid batteries for 1/3 the price of replacing them at the dealer. So we save customers money, and it's environmentally friendly. We're the 4th shop in California that can use this technology to condition hybrid batteries. The reality is most of the changes we've had in our industry have been incremental changes. And most of the technology in these cars is common technology. And for example, in all European cars, the entire ignition system is made by Bosch, which we all know that name, Bosch. When it comes to hybrid technology, it's a leap in technology. And so that's why we've had to partner with a company to give us the support. We've got 5 of our employees trained already. We've got 2 more going back to training next week. They go back to a training center in Wisconsin for an entire week. And so we will, in a year from now, be probably the top knowledge base on hybrid, all things hybrid in California. And so, we're a large shop, and so we've got the ability to have the technology here and the software support to do these things. This opportunity is not only an opportunity for our customers to save money, it's an opportunity for our employees to have greater job satisfaction. They're going to be highly trained, state-of-the-art, and top wage earners in their industry. This is important for everybody, but it's not only about the opportunity of taking care of hybrid cars. It's just the right thing to do. If you want to be in business, you've got to be top of your game.
There was an incredible discovery in 2014 at the Chadwick School campus when a teacher found a 12-million-year-old whale fossil.
I never thought we'd have to go back 12 million years to find an interesting story. Come with me and I'll show you why this is a really unique feature. We're talking with Martin Beihauer, the gentleman who discovered this. How exactly did you discover it?
Well, we have these really cool fossils that we walk by every day here on campus, and as a past...
We meaning you and all these students.
All the students and all the faculty. Some walk by and don't notice it. Others have been noticing them, and I've been wondering about them for a long time. And the whole thing, the thing that scientists do is they look at things and they wonder. And my curiosity got the best of me because I knew these were whale fossils, but I wanted to know a little bit more about them, and particularly this one that we've discovered that's really special.
I'm from the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, and I'm here to pick up this sperm whale skull that was found here on Chadwick School.
When you first got the message about this, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I got the message to come up here and identify some fossils. And I thought, okay, there's fossils up here, so I can go do that. That's what I do. It's really fun. I love it. So I came up here and looked at some vertebrae and some ribs of some various whales. And then Martin showed me this skull. I took one look at it and said, that's a very important skull. It needs to come to the museum.
That takes a lot of intelligence and sort of perception to realize that.
Well, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of bones, I've seen a lot of skulls, and what we're trained to do is look at a rock and kind of identify what's showing and try and figure out what it is just by what's showing on the outside of the rock.
Well, it's rare that a K through 12 school gets to actually add to the body of knowledge that's in the scientific community, so we're thrilled with this opportunity that's actually been sitting here right under our eyes for many, many years. For our students, it opens their eyes to the fact that there are things all around them that maybe they should be taking note of, and there's so many wonderful scientific questions to be asking about everything that's around us in Los Angeles.
And that will do it for us. From everyone here at RPV TV, make it a great year.